We got a new character here, look. New little puppet. This is actually a gift from Jeanie. She sent me this little bunny. He's cool. Well, I don't know if he's a he or a she yet, because I haven't actually named this bunny yet. What do you think I should name the bunny? Pop. But today we are looking at, what I'm going to do today is, little bunnies, maybe I'll just call them Bunny. Honey Bunny. Honey. This is Honey. That's it. Honey. Little Honey the bunny is going to help us look at this. What we're going to do is, I'm going to look at issue number 1 of the ImagineFX magazine and compare it with the digital version. So I'm going to be comparing the physical and the digital, talking about some of the positives and negatives. Let's go and have a look at this one. So, the first thing I'll say is, I actually love physical magazines. What I've done is, I've made a little list down here of, because what happened was, in issue 100 of the ImagineFX magazine, they actually gave away the first issue as a PDF file. So I've got that on my iPad, and I'm just going to basically sort of compare the experience of going through this physically and digitally. And without actually trying it out yet, this is what I've put as me positive and negatives. Digital negative is, doesn't have a value. So it doesn't, for me, it doesn't feel as special as actually having this thing here, like physically. It's very much like the discs. You used to get physical discs with all the videos and stuff, and then when they turned that all to being online, to downloadable, it lost a lot of its sort of, for me it lost a lot of the value, and it didn't feel as special. Because actually having the disc is, there's something cool about that. I've also put, one of the negatives for digital is that you don't get any sensory thing. All you're getting, even like touching the screen, feels different to touching paper. So there's like a sort of a disconnect for me. Whereas when you're with the physical, you feel like you're actually part of it. But here you feel like you're distant. But the positives is you can zoom right in on things. So like you can have a right look at it, look at the details, which that's brilliant. They can also put assets in. So if they wanted to, they could allow you to click on links. Like if there's a link here, they can make it so you can click on the links. But I don't think they've done it for this one. So there's like some positive things there, and also easy to store them. You could have like 1 million ImagineFX magazines all on one device, whereas to have 1 million ImagineFX magazines, you'd need a couple cupboards. Which gets me into one of the negatives of physical, is basically you end up with cupboards full of magazines. But in a strange way, I sort of like that, because it looks cool. And also you get all the colours and stuff, because what they do is on the side you get different coloured edges. So when you get like loads of them together, it just looks really nice for me. That's what I'm thinking. I'll show you my cupboard in a minute though. At the end of the video I'll go in my cupboard and I'll show you like the thing. But the positives about the physical magazine is, it's way more about the senses. So you're not, well, sometimes, especially when you get a new magazine, you get hit with this smell. Like the smell, and it takes me back to my childhood sometimes, like playing video games and stuff. When you used to open the box and you could smell the manual. Like there's something really amazing about that. So sometimes you can smell the paper. So you're getting it with the smells, you're getting it with a sense of the smell. You've got your visuals, which means like you can actually look at the artwork. So you're getting the senses that way. You're touching the paper as well. Because what they do as well is, some of these ImagineFX magazines, when they introduced a fantasy illustration section at the back, for a few months or something, they changed the paper texture. So what happened is it's all glossy and shiny here, and then when you got to the what's it called, the traditional section, they put it like sketchbook paper. So it was amazing because you felt like you were sort of going into something different, whereas on the digital it always feels the same. But also you're getting the sense of turning the page over as well. Whereas on here all you're doing is swiping. So I like the thing of turning the page, and then also you get the sounds. Like, listen to this. Whereas listen to that. See? So like, even like just the act of going through the magazine is creating like a sensory overload. I like this character. Well, so I put more special. It just feels way more special to actually hold it in your hand. Like, it's almost like a present, a Christmas present. It just feels special, and I've put this fun to collect them. So even though you end up with cupboards full of magazines, it is fun. So I've already done a click look video, this issue number 1. I'll put a link in the description. Like, even this here, look, like this bit here, it's got a different texture to it. Like, it's a little bit more sticky, I suppose, on that bit. You can even see it, look, it's shiny. It's more shiny on the... See what I mean? So like that, you're getting like a little sort of a sensory excitement there. Whereas if you go on here, like, look, like that bit there, it just feels the same. There's nothing to it. I'll tell you what I do like though about the digital is, look, you can just jump straight to, well, actually you can do it on here as well, can't you? Yeah. Oh, I like sort of seeing all the little thumbnails here. Oh, that's quite interesting. Look, you can sort of go like, what I was going to do though, I was going to go, well, maybe I'll just do it all together. So, what's the process like of getting into the magazine? So here, look, the thing is, when you first get this, you don't know what the next page is going to look like. So there's an element of excitement as you turn the page over. Whereas on here, if it was like full screen, it's not as exciting to do that, is it? So even that, and what you can do is you can go like, you can sort of have a little peek as you're getting it, and ooh, like that. Whereas over here, you're sort of, that's quite a good thing as well, look. It automatically rotates. But I can also do that here. Anything you can do, I can do better. I do like the cover of this one though. So the process of getting into the magazine is more exciting for this one. I suppose one of the negatives of physical is you can actually damage it. Like, you can rip the pages and things. But then what I do like is, sometimes when it's got a bit of damage, it gives it a bit of character. Whereas this thing's always going to be crisp and stuff. So what about navigating through the thing? So if I wanted to get to a specific section, let's say I wanted to get to page 92, how to draw manga. All I've got, you got the numbers down here. All I've got to do is I've got to go like that, 92, there you go, how to draw manga. That's not my favourite manga character actually, but that's quite easy really. You just look up for the number and go. Whereas on here, I want to get to page number 92. See, what they could do is, I don't know whether they do this in some of the later issues, but they could have it so you could click on that and go straight to that section. Now that would be brilliant. And I do believe some of the later issues do things like that. But, well, I don't know if ImagineFX does it, but I've seen other PDF files where you can actually jump around like that. So that would actually be that would be better actually. But if I wanted to do it like this, I'd probably jump to about there. It tells you up here, look, page. I wonder if there's a way to sort of see, I'm not sure. So you would have to, it's a bit harder to find the page you want. It's not that hard though. Let's compare. I'm not going to compare that. Because let's get a nice, what about, hang on a minute, let's go over to, what I'm trying to do is find a nice image so I can compare the quality of the images. See, even looking at it like that, you're sort of limited by going through it in order. I also don't like that it keeps rotating. I'm sure you can turn that off though. For me, it's much easier to flip through and find what I want to look for. Well, let's do it with this one here, look. So this one, page 57. That's a nice one. That's the cover of an FX magazine, that is. An FX book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare these two pages. So the first thing that strikes me is this is much clearer. This is much clearer. But what you can do is you can just pick it up and look at it like that. So I can put that right up to my eyes and have a look at it. But on the digital I can zoom right in, look. So that wins. The digital wins because it's got a much crisper image. Well, not necessarily crisper, it's brighter, so it's easier to see, and you can zoom right in on it as well. So the digital wins in that department, I think. But I think for me it's much easier to flip through. It's much easier to, and look, again, even flipping through, we get sound effects. Flipping through on this, there's nothing. And I suppose they could add that in actually. They could probably add that in as a sound effect. So like, they can make it go, so imagine that, you go like that, watch this, look. Imagine if they did this, look, where you go like that, as you do that, it does this. Oh, I'd like that. What else are we going to look at? Well, what I noticed was there's actually some pages missing here. This has got 100 pages, whereas the physical one has got 115, 114. So I'm wondering whether those missing 14 pages are actually adverts. So that would tell you just how many adverts there are. Let's have a look and see if it is. What I've got to do is I've got to get to page. I'm going to try and get to the page there and see if there's an advert. Because if there isn't, that's actually a positive for the digital. Because you're not getting adverts. I can't find. Here it is. Yeah, look. So you don't get the adverts. So that means there's 14 pages of adverts in the physical one. That's quite a lot, really. So depending on the adverts, if it's an advert you want to see, then that's actually quite a negative for the digital, because you might miss out on seeing an art book or something. But then if you don't like adverts, it's positive. So I think what I'm beginning to realise is it's a bit like there's positives and negatives to both. So it's probably just like personal preference. But for me, I just like the physical one. And also, what happens with the DVD? With the physical one, for the first 100 issues or something, you got a DVD with like a load of assets on it. So, what happens with the if you got the issues as a digital one? Do you miss out on the DVDs or something? I'm just going to play around with this a little bit more so that I can sort of, let's have a look, look. It's a little bit blurry, but I wonder whether the latest issue, look at that, look. See, I can zoom right in on that here. And also what you could do is, let's see if this would work. Yeah, that's cool. So I could take a screenshot of that and then go into Affinity Photo or Procreate, and I could draw over the top of that very easily. Whereas with this one here, it'd be much harder to do that, because I'd have to either like scan it into the computer, take a photo. So that was very easy, that. But then I suppose what you could do is you could just take a photo of the image on your iPad and then put that into Procreate. So it's not that much different, I suppose. I will say though, the images look a lot better on this on the iPad than in the magazine. Even though they're blurrier, they look more vivid. Yeah, I suppose if you've got like issues with your sight, it's much better to be able to zoom right in on the text as well. And also what I like is, look, I wonder if you can, yeah, you can, that's good. So you can actually pick out text. So you can go copy, you could then go into Safari and quickly look for the artist. That's a nice image, look. I was wondering if there was any like, I'm sure if I used a different package, I'd be able to sort of jump around a bit or something. Oh, I like this as well. Look at this, look. Right at the end, you got look, you got like full images. I think these are the workshop file. I think these are wallpapers that are on the DVD. So that's nice. So there's like a little Brucey bonus, I suppose. It's nice to have that image without the text on it as well. Imagine how beautiful that cover. Hey, look, it's flipped reversed it. Imagine how beautiful that cover would be without text on it. So that's it for this one. What I'm going to do is, well, I'd like to know what you think. Do you think it's better to have these issues physically or digitally? I'd be very interested, because I wonder whether in the future we won't even have a choice. Maybe everything will go digital, that would be a very shame for me. I would miss having the physical issues. But little Honey Bunny, she enjoyed herself. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you into my cupboard. Because this is another thing as well. In my cupboard, little Honey Bunny she'll come with me. Da-da-dee. So, these are some of my ImagineFX magazines. And you can see there's quite a lot of them. And basically, there's more over the other side as well. There's loads down here as well. So basically, there are like loads of them. Loads of ImagineFX magazines. But look how like sexy it looks. Seeing them all like that. I think it's brilliant. So I hope you enjoyed this. As we look at the digital versus physical ImagineFX magazines. And I shall see you later for another one. I just wanted to say, I've just thought of something. What would be quite cool is, if you're like a collector and you want to keep your issues absolutely pristine, what you could do is, you could actually get the physical and the digital together, and you could keep your physical one in like a little package to keep it absolutely pristine and perfect, but you could still enjoy the issue by going through the digital one. So I do know that ImagineFX do a deal or something where you can get both of them together, and I've always thought, why would anyone want that? But I just thought about that. So that's just another thing as well. Maybe the best way to do it is to have both. I'm not sure.